So hi everyone, so my name is Picodes. I co-founded Angle Labs, which is the dev company behind the Angle protocol. And so we're a stablecoin issuer, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of all the risks you expose yourself when you're using stablecoins and how we can do better in this regard. So firstly, let's discuss a bit the stats. So the facts are that there's a huge industry around smart contract security. We're doing formal verification, we're doing a lot of techniques, we're doing fuzzing, we're doing tons of stuff, and there's tons of companies in this space, but there's very little on the economical design of stablecoins, of lending markets, and so on. And for example, the total value hacked according to DeFi is 8 billion. But the fact is, most end users lost money to stablecoins, to UST, to the other ones that failed before. And so the value lost to stablecoins has been very high, so 18 billion just for UST. And every few months we have a trust crisis regarding USDT, regarding USDC, regarding BUSD, currently Binance stablecoins, and True USD as well. So there's really a major security point in being able to explain the risks to the end users and being able to have some, let's say, rating agency for these centralized stablecoins. So the first very good point about centralized stablecoins is that most of the times you have like reserve proofs, and the reserves of the stablecoin is being audited by an independent entity who's checking that they have the cash in bank, that they have the reserve assets, and that this entity is issuing a proof of this. So that's the good thing. But the bad thing is we frequently don't know where these stablecoins with this centralized entity are banked. Like we still don't know which bank is backing USDT. And I guess it's some low-tier bank, right? It's not the main one. And it's not the ones you would use with your own savings, right? So that's an issue. And we also very frequently don't know how they are monitoring this on-chain. What I mean, so some are disclosing they are using MPC, but we've just learned that you cannot trust this witnessing the multi-chain hack. Some are using multi-sig, but we don't know the signers. So here is a brief overview of the state of the Euro stablecoin market, and you can see that in most of the case, it's either unknown signers behind the multi-sig, either external owned accounts, but with unlimited allowances, either just MPCs, but it's disclosed on the documentation, but we have no formal proof of this. So there's an issue here. There's an issue also in being regulated and being compliant with the regulations. Any stablecoins can be shut down by the government it is regulated into. So that's a regulatory risk you expose yourself as well when you ape into a centralized stablecoin. And there is, of course, fees and the risk of the underlying assets. So you have the proof that there are some assets, but most of the time it's treasury bonds, and we've seen with banks' bankruptcy that sometimes these lose in value. So this is a risk you need to take into account as well. So a few companies are trying to create frameworks to assess this and to give grades to these centralized stablecoins. The main one is MakerDAO, which released a framework called SAFU for Stablecoin Assessment Framework Unified, and where they grade basically on a lot of aspects the different stablecoins, and they picked the one that they'll take for backing DAI. So here is the results of this framework, and you can see that they emphasized a lot revenue generation, right? So the main thing they considered was how much the stablecoin was paying and what was the agreement with the entity disclosing, emitting the stablecoin. So we've created another one with Angle protocol where we are assessing Euro stablecoins. And you can see on the left all the topics we've considered. So market cap, because of course the more liquid is a stablecoin, the less risk you're taking because you're able to exit. Longevity, because it factors in how robust the team is and so on. But as well, the fees, smart contract safety, the team, regulatory framework, and so on. So the bad news is that we haven't found the perfect Euro stablecoin yet. Everyone has grades below 50/85, so we can do better on this. But my point here, as far as centralized stablecoins are concerned, is that we really need someone independent, because we're a stablecoin issuer, right? We cannot grade the other, of course. So we need like rating agencies that will label these stablecoins and that will do the work for you, because we're always saying it's transparent, you can do your own research. The truth is, on this topic, you can't. You need someone to do it for you. You need someone to present you the results, say this one is a AAA stablecoin, this one is a BBB for this and these reasons. Here is why it's lacking robustness. Now down to decentralized stablecoins. So decentralized stablecoins, basically, you take a token and this token is backed either by other stablecoins, either by non-stable assets that are issued through a CDP, so a borrowing module, where you can deposit collateral and borrow assets, borrow the stablecoin. And so the first thing is that when you assess the risk of such token, it's exactly the same thing as when you're holding a USDC on AV or some token which is in fact a stablecoin, right? On a borrowing protocol, on Compound, CUSDC or so on. Behind this token, you have some cash, like the reserves that the lending protocol has, and you have some non-stable assets and some assets denominated in other currencies that represent the stablecoin that have been borrowed. And all this basket that is backing your token can vary in exposure. And in fact, this is the main risk. We're frequently talking about like loan to value and a bunch of risk parameters. But what history tells us is that what really matters for stablecoins is backing assets going to zero, like not slowly decreasing. And when an asset goes to zero, what we've noticed, so here just to show you that the decentralized stablecoins have been really progressing forward in the past year, because now you have live balance sheets of Maker, Frax, and all the major ones, which is a huge improvement. You can see in real time which assets are backing the stablecoin and on which quantity. So you can see in real time what you are exposed to. So here it's the balance sheet of Maker. Here is the one of Frax. And you can see that at the top you have own stable assets, on the middle you have lent assets, and if you dig a bit into this, you can clearly see your exposure in real time. But what we've noticed and what stands out very clearly during the USDC DPEG is that when you have an automated system, Uniswap, AV, all protocols, in fact, you're left, the protocol is left ending the weak bag. So what I mean by this is that if you take, let's first go here, if you take the LP tokens on Curve and on Uniswap, when one of the underlying goes down, the LP token goes down and is left holding only this weak token. And when the same thing goes for Maker, for example. During the USDC DPEG, everyone was swapping USDC to GUSD using DAI. And so in fact, they were swapping the reserves backing DAI. So Maker was left exposed to the weakest asset. And the only things that prevent Maker from going really bankrupt was, of course, USDC repeating, but as well the rate limits they had implemented and all the techniques they had to prevent this from happening at a large scale, and at a very large scale. And so I'll conclude by saying that from all these learnings, we're currently developing at Angle, first, stablecoins to assess the quality of centralized assets that we're taking in our basket of assets to issue our stablecoins. But then we're focusing our model on exposure control. And by exposure control, I mean, in the worst case, if this asset goes down, how much are you exposed? And I think that's the key metric that you need to present users and that we should be focusing on when assessing the robustness of decentralized stablecoins. Thank you.
Thank you.